Hi, in this video I will show you how to use our Employee Weekly Schedule template. With your purchase, you get both Excel and Google Sheets versions. For this tutorial, I'll be using the Excel version, but the usage in Google Sheets remains exactly the same with no changes. First, we'll start with the Instructions tab and follow the steps one by one. Step 1. Set up your menus. It says, go to the Menus tab and list all your work timings, shift roles, supervisor names, and leave types. These will become drop-down options in the schedule sheets. This is the Menus tab. Here you can add or customize your work timings, shift roles, supervisor names, and leave types. In these three drop-down columns, you can add up to 50 options each, and for leave types, you can customize up to 6 options. The details you enter here will appear as drop-down options in both the Work Schedule tab and the Work plus Shift Roles tab. Now, let me update a few entries and show you how they appear in the schedule. Now I've added the work timings, shift roles, and supervisor names. For leave types, I'll use the default options, but in your case, you can customize them if needed. After adding the data here, you can now see that the drop-down menus are reflecting in both the Work Schedule tab and the Work Shift Roles tab. We have also provided an Instructions tab explaining how everything works, which will help you understand the flow easily. Both the work timings options and the leave types options will appear together in a single drop-down menu in the Schedule tabs. I'll explain this clearly when I show you the scheduling part. So we've added all the required menus, and with this, step 1 is fully completed. Now let's move on to step 2. Step 2, add your employees. It says, go to the Employee List tab and enter the employee details. You can add up to 50 employees. Make sure to set the status to active for current employees. If you select inactive, that employee won't appear in the schedule dropdown. This is the Employee List tab. Here you can add up to 50 employees. Once you add the employee names here, they will appear as drop-down options in the Schedule tabs. So let me quickly add the employee details and show you how it works. Yes, so now I've added the employee details here, and as you can see, these names are now populating in both the Work Schedule tab and the Work Shift Roles tab. In step 2, it was mentioned, make sure to set the status to active for current employees. If you select inactive, that employee won't appear in the schedule dropdown. So let's check this feature. Right now, all staff members have their status set to active. And in the schedule sheets, I can see all their names appearing in the drop-down menus. Now, let me select the name Esther George and change the status to inactive, and let's see if the name is removed from the drop-down menus. Because I've now changed the work status to inactive for Esther George, you can see that her name no longer appears in the drop-down list. This means that when an employee leaves the company, marking them as inactive automatically removes them from the schedule drop-down menus, and this feature is working as expected. Now, when I switch the status back to active, you can see that her name appears again in the drop-down list. This is how the active versus inactive employee feature works. With this, step 2 is fully completed. Now let's move on to step 3. Step 3. Choose your schedule sheet. It says, pick between the work schedule sheet or the work role shifts sheet, whichever suits your needs. Make a duplicate of the sheet and rename it to the start date of the week. These are the two different types of scheduling tabs. One is for regular weekly scheduling, and the other is for scheduling with assigned shift roles. These two layouts are the most commonly used across businesses, which is why I've included both. I'll show you how scheduling works in both sheets. First, let me show you the regular work schedule sheet. This is the weekly schedule used to plan employees for the week. Before adding any data, always make sure to create a duplicate copy of the sheet. To duplicate in Excel, hold Control on Windows or Option on Mac, then click and drag the sheet like this. This will create a duplicate copy of the sheet. Once done, simply rename the sheet to the week you're going to use. In Google Sheets, just right-click on the tab and select Duplicate to make a copy. So now we have a duplicate copy of this sheet. By using this method, we always keep the original sheet with the original format. For all future weeks, you can simply duplicate the sheet and continue using it. Now, let's start scheduling. First, enter the week start date. Delete the existing week start date and enter the week start date you're going to use. Once you do that, you'll see all the dates in the work scheduling columns update automatically. Next, add your team name or store name for which you're creating the schedule. After that, select the supervisor for the team. Once this part is done, select the employee name and their department from the drop-down menus. So let me select the names and their departments. Okay, now it's time to add the work timings. In my case, my staff work the same shift every day. So for that, I simply select the work timing for the first day, then copy and paste it across the full week. With that, adding work timings is done. Now, how do we add their weekly offs? It's simple. As I mentioned earlier in the menus section, both work timings and leave types appear in the same drop-down menu in the scheduling cells. Let me show you how it works. Joel Pereira works the same shift every day, which I've already copied and pasted for the full week. He has requested his weekly off on Thursday, so I'll click on the Thursday cell and type off. You can see the leave option appear, and I'll select it. That's it. Easy, right? So the process is simple. First, copy the employee's work timing for the first day and paste it for the full week. Then just add their weekly offs or leave like this. Now, let me add schedules for another 2 employees using the same method. That's it. It only took a few seconds. I promise that once you have this template with you, you'll be able to do it even faster than what I showed in this demo. Now, let's say you feel the 6 default leave types are not enough and you want to add more. It's very simple. Since both work timings and leave types appear in the same drop-down menu, you can just go to the work timings column and add your additional leave options there. Once added, those leave types will automatically appear in the scheduling drop-downs. The work timing section allows up to 50 entries, so there's plenty of room to add extra leave types if needed. This makes it very easy to customize the schedule exactly the way you want. So now you know how to use the regular work schedule sheet. Next, let's take a look at the work plus shift role schedule sheet. This is the work plus shift roles sheet. I'll follow the same method as before. First, I'll make a duplicate copy of the sheet and rename it for the week I'm going to use. Then I'll enter the week beginning date, team name, and supervisor. Next, I'll select the employee name and their department. This scheduling sheet works the same way as the regular work schedule sheet, but with one additional option. Now let me add the work timings for Joel Pereira. I'll use the same method, select the work timing on the first day, then copy and paste it for the full week. After that, I'll simply change his weekly off. This part works exactly the same as the regular work scheduling. As you can see, there is one more drop-down option here for shift roles. These roles are coming from the Menus tab under Shift Roles, which we set up earlier. Because of this, I can assign a different role for each day or the same role for multiple days. Joel Pereira told me that he will be doing stocking for the first 3 days of the week, and after his weekly off, he will take care of inventory. So now I'll assign his roles accordingly. So now you can see that, as discussed, he will be doing stocking for 3 days and inventory for the next 3 days, and I've assigned the roles accordingly. Now, I have one more staff member who takes great initiative at work and is always eager to learn new tasks. Jason Carvalho. He's one of our best employees and handles multiple roles during the week. First, I'll select his work timings using the same method. I'll choose the timing for the first day, copy it, and paste it for the full week. He takes his weekly off on Monday, so I'll mark that accordingly. Now I'll assign his different roles for each day. On Monday, he is off. On Tuesday, he does cash handling. On Wednesday, he handles cleaning. On Thursday, he does restocking. On Friday, he takes care of opening. And on Saturday and Sunday, he handles closing. That's it. I hope you now understand how the work shift roles scheduling works. This type of scheduling is especially helpful for businesses where employees work across different departments or handle multiple roles throughout the week. This sheet includes the option to assign shift roles, which helps you plan the weekly schedule more accurately. So you can choose the scheduling format that works best for you. Either the regular work schedule sheet or the work plus shift roles sheet. If your employees work the same role throughout the week, the regular work schedule is the better choice. But if your employees handle different roles on different days, then the work shift roles schedule is the right option. With this, I've covered step 3, and I've also shown you step 4. All steps are now complete, and you should have a clear understanding of how to use our template. This video may have taken a bit longer to explain everything, but I promise you'll be able to create schedules much faster than what I showed in this demo. That's it for this video. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out and I'll be happy to help. I also invite you to visit my shop and check out other ready-to-use templates. I'll end the video here. Thank you. Bye. GG.